Hello, so today I thought I would show you some of the doodled borders that I add to some of my projects. They are just doodles, they aren't sort of stamped or anything, they're just done with a fineliner pen. I love to doodle, and I think it can make the difference between a project just being ordinary and turn it into something unique because it's got your artistry in it. There's 4 different styles of doodle borders that I'm going to show you. The first one is this one. Now some people think it looks like a heart monitor where it goes up and down like an ECG monitor. I've done it round these 2 hearts as well as round the tag. The initial idea was it was supposed to look like torn paper. So I always darken the edges of whatever I've put this border around so that it makes it look as if it's a piece of torn paper on the top of the project. It's a very, very easy one to do. You've just got to remember not to think too much. So we'll start with that one. I'll just fold a piece of paper into 4 and then we can do a border on each piece of paper. So as I say, it's very, very easy. Just don't think about it. The most important thing is not to think. So we'll set that aside slightly. I've got several types of fineliner pens. I actually like micron fineliner pens, which I'll show you on, which are these. These are absolutely amazing pens. They're archival, they're permanent once dry, they're really, really good pens. Waterproof and fade proof. You can get different widths. Mine actually have about run out. I use them a lot. So if I tried to show you, it wouldn't be a clear line. So I'm just going to show you with either this one, which is just a cheap fine liner, or this one. This one was from the works quite a long time ago. This is from the works recently. And if we were doing a border around this rectangle, all I tend to start in a corner. You don't need to be perfectly straight when you're going. You just go along, every so often go up, down, little wiggle, and sometimes you can do a big tear. Little ones go quite a long way before a couple of little ones. And you can see, you get the idea of torn paper. Start again at a corner. And I really don't think about it. Finish in a corner. Hope you can see from that hand. Sometimes I go quite a long way before I do another. It's a very elongated V, really, basically, and then little V's and W's. And don't plan where you're going to put them, just sort of go with the flow. I find it easier if I'm going across to go down rather than going up and in. And sometimes you can do sort of that shape as if the paper's been torn and the chunks come out. There we are. So that's the first border. And then as I say, I would darken all round these edges so that it looks like torn paper. So as you can see here, I've done it round the tag and round the hearts and then darkened the edges. This is just a bubble wrap background, and these are a couple of jelly print scraps. So that's the first one. We'll set that aside. The second one, if I can get hold of it, is this one. It's quite a whimsical sort of, not Zentangle because it isn't as structured as Zentangle, but it's just a whimsical border. And it's very, very easy to do. Again, start in a corner and you just want a wavy line all the way around, whatever you're doing. Now that I didn't press hard enough there, but don't worry because we can rectify that later. And you can do sort of big sweeps or long curves. I tend to keep moving my paper round because I find it easier. Then starting at the corner at the beginning, and then I just cross over like that and go to a corner. Again, like this. And it doesn't matter what shapes you end up with in your border. And you can do long or short. I'll just fill that in like that. Again, start at a corner. And that will be quite a long area there. And then I'll just fill some of these in with a pattern. I'll just go across, some banding. I'll leave one just plain. The next one I'll go sweep from right to left, right to left, right to left, like that. Some I might just put little dots in a line, like that. Let's see, what else have we got on there? They're diagonal lines, so I might do a zigzag line and then straight up and down. And I'll continue doing that all the way around. Some areas I may put a couple of lines just like that to break it up, just on opposing sides. Some areas I might group some little round circular doodles here. And then with this one, it was a patterned background. I did the black doodles and then I filled in with a Uniball broad white gel pen and basically just filled in where I doodled just to give it a bit of highlight. This tag then had its border, so I just stuck on 3 little flowers which are from my stamp set. You can tell it's been used a lot for Samantha Kay. I designed these stamps for Samantha and she had them produced, and this is one of the flowers here. So that's that one, and then a couple of other sizes as well. I coloured those with I think alcohol markers, and then just stuck those on extra. So that is the second border. So we've got 2 so far, so we'll turn our paper over, folding it half again. So the next one is another easy one here, and because I've got a floral theme to this stamp, these again are the flowers from my stamp set, I coloured those in, fussy cut them out, and then this element here is actually from an All and Create stamp, Tracy Evans All and Create stamp, and you'll see it's this thimble, but I've turned it into a pot. So a thimble becomes a pot for the plants. So I'd stamped that on first, and then I added the stems, just doodled stems where I wanted the flowers to sit, and just some little leaves, and then coloured them with gel pens. The border around the outside is very, very tiny little bits every so often, but it just breaks it up from being totally plain. And I've also put on a 3D foam pad a little flower there. So this one, again, bearing in mind you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to draw perfect lines. Without a ruler, you won't be able to draw a perfect line. It doesn't matter. When you're doing a doodle border, that's fine. So we start in one corner, go along, down one side, across the bottom, and then we'll join those two up. Now here, you see I've made a mistake, I've gone too far. So I make a mistake into a feature by doing all four corners the same, just to carry the lines on. It goes to show that sometimes if you're just showing somebody how to do something, you do make mistakes. That's fine, you can easily rectify that. Then every so often, I've got a little bit more of a gap on this side, I'll do a leaf, and then maybe another leaf at that side. I could do a flower, so start in a central point and do a flower with 4 petals. I could do a flower that's just one-sided, like that, a one-sided flower. Another leaf. You can do, I'll turn it on a side and you'll be able to see better, just a coil, like that. Just round. We could do a bit bigger flower here, so we could have the middle of the flower there, and we could do the petals like that. Colour that pink and that yellow. Coming up the other side, we'll add a solitary leaf there, and a bit longer petalled flower there. And these, again, don't have to be perfect. Again, we'll do another leaf up there. And just work with the room that you've got. We'll have a little spiral there, corkscrew there, and then we'd carry that on along the top. So you would maybe have the top of the flower and its petals coming like that. And then you would colour those in with gel pens or pro markers, whatever. This is a gel pen, and I'm just going to cover the inside of the leaf. I can always go back over the top with black for the vein in the centre. And then the little flower we'll maybe do pink. Once you colour them in, it makes them more interesting and makes them stand out more. So we'll do this one in pink at the bottom. And have we got a yellow? Yeah, got a yellow. And a little yellow centre. So you see, that's completely up to you and however you want to do it, but it makes a pretty whimsical border when it's done. I think we need another leaf there. There we are. So that is the border round here, and it echoes the whimsy of the flowers on the tag. The last border, which will go onto this side, is my latest doodled border. I got a few of Tracy Evans stamps for All and Create at Christmas from my husband, and as you can see, on the previous one I've turned the thimble into a plant pot. I love this mannequin here and the word mannequin, and these little buttons are just gorgeous. And if I turn it over you can see this, how small they are. This is the one that I turned into a plant pot, and this is the mannequin. So I've stamped the mannequin. I've coloured the body in quite a bright pink to match the background. Used a white gel pen just here just to highlight the stand, but the border is just drawn freehand. It's supposed to look like messy stitches, which I think I've achieved that. I'll do it on here, and if I was doing round this rectangle I would maybe start with a few little dashes to look like stitches, and then a line. But then I also sometimes start another line, do more stitches coming across and going through. But then I also do a bit of messy, scrappy doodling, and it looks like a thread that's bunched up in a machine. We'd then come out the other side like that, and we may do a zigzag stitch. And because it's artistic it doesn't have to be perfect, and I may carry my line through there, come down again, carry on, a few little stitches to go in, then add zigzag across there, then come back and have a messy area again with a couple of threads hanging. I could stamp the buttons here as well, so I'll leave this area plain and I can stamp buttons. I can then sort of come from where the buttons will finish, more stitches, and carry our thread on again with possibly a little bit of zigzagging down there. So you get the idea. When you're doing the scribbly bits, don't worry, just go for it. So I'll just show you, get my archival ink out and add the buttons. Should have got this out before. But there's two different sizes of buttons. These are the smallest ones. And they really are quite tiny. And on my original tag I did a group of 4 here and part of a set up there. So I've got my blank area that I left there, and I'm going to position it just like that. So that just adds a little bit of a feature. So I think I'll probably go in that corner with some more. But up here, I may go off an edge so it isn't a full stamp. So my thread is coming through to there, and then it's coming out again. I'll do my little running stitches again, round, turn it round, I'll zigzag again, before I'll go around. Couple of threads there, it's caught in the machine. A little bit more zigzag. And then a running stitch. And then I would carry that on with the running stitch. The zigzag and just the thread, because then that would be ideal for just having, let's see, I'll just put one button partly off there, and let's see, which buttons shall we have? We may have the full group here in this corner. There we are. Because I think there's a little bit of a gap up here, I can just do some going off there. But you can do as many or as few as you want. And if you want to draw your own little buttons, if you haven't got a button stamp, see, where shall we put one? Just put one here. Just two little holes, a circle round, and fill it in. And then it's a button. Or you could use the end of a pen just to do a black dot, and then to put two little white dots for the eyes in the button. So there we are. That's our last border. So I'll just open them out and show you the all four. Hopefully this will all fit on the video. And we've got our mannequin, our whimsical, other whimsical, and our torn paper or heartbeat, depending on what you want to call it. So that's our 4 tags and our 4 borders.